introduce the person doing our presentation today. Very excited about Bruce. Bruce Maddox has joined us with over 30 years of financial discipline, practice, leadership, and really executive management to a lot of corporate clients. Bruce most recently provided professional financial services, consulting, and implementation services across both financial, healthcare, financial services, payment processing, and a lot of other industries that he's worked with. Prior to those roles, he was the CFO and CAO of Priority Technology Holdings, formerly Priority Payment Systems, for over 8 years. And there, it was really neat. He got to work through that, leading that company through a public stock offering. And at the time, that organization was the 6th largest non-bank owned payment processor in the country. And so he brings a wealth of experience. In addition, his background includes a tenure at GE, where he's formally trained in Six Sigma process implementation methodology, and also earned the distinction of Greenbelt certification. He's traveled and managed a team in New Delhi, India. And really what I'm excited about is with his unique, blend of hands-on, frontline, and C-suite experience, he brings so much experience and value to our client base. He's not only able to identify the root cause of process improvement issues or other business growth opportunities, but also possess the ability to communicate. He's a fabulous communicator. I'm excited about you guys getting to meet him. So Bruce, I will hand this over to you. So excited to have you as part of our team. I know this is the first time some people are getting to meet you, but we're so excited for you, and I'll hand it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Craig. I'm happy to be here and join the One Vision team. So let's see if we can get this presentation to move and cooperate. All right, hopefully everyone is seeing the agenda slide. And that's where I will start for today's agenda. We'll cover learning opportunities for Intacct, a recap of the release preview schedule for 2021, a review of the Release 3 highlights, including updates since Release 2, tips and tricks through a demo of select features, and we'll wrap up with a few questions and answers. As a reminder, your Intacct subscription includes access to the Sage Intacct Learning Center. The Learning Center includes training videos, helpful how-to documents, and a chance to collaborate with other Sage Intacct users through the community portal. Please register for and actively use this valuable resource. And as Craig mentioned, as a courtesy to our clients, One Vision holds this preview webinar for the purpose of providing an overview of the upcoming release features. Also, you may contact Casey, your client service manager, and Casey Decker's information is on the screen, as you can see. Please ask her any questions or contact her for any issues you may have. Sage Intacct releases updates to its products 4 times a year, once per quarter. The release dates for 2021 are February 19th for Release 1, May 21st for Release 2, August 20th is coming Friday for the latest Release 3, and November 12th for Release 4. One Vision will hold this quarterly webinar approximately 2 to 3 days before the release. So between release dates, Sage Intacct makes small enhancements to the product which might impact your environment. For example, since Release 2, a few of the changes include the end-of-life offering for the Wells Fargo Payment Manager, which has been replaced with a full suite of payment solutions provided by the vendor CSI, who's known as Corporate Spending Innovations. A Sage Intelligent Time enhancement allowing for the addition of negative hours to a timesheet. There's a new fixed asset update and release to version 8.0. And there's a modification to the end of month billing for bill in advance contracts and a selectable drop-down menu enhancement for contracts with the digital board book subscription. This was previously only available via the API or by CSV import. And now moving on to the Release 3 updates. The highlights for Release 3 continue Sage Intacct's focus around three major themes: best-in-class financials, deep cross-industry functionality, and best-in-class cloud platform. Updates for the best-in-class financials include improved GL Outlier Detection, enhanced bank feed matching rules, and pre-built Canadian sales tax support. Deep cross-industry functionality updates include enhanced contracts billing and reporting, a new inventory in transit warehouse feature, and construction project change order features for early adopters that have subscribed to this module. Best-in-class cloud platform highlights include additional dashboard components, financial report writer enhancements, and secured PDF documentation generation features. Now let's explore these highlights in just a bit more detail. GL Outlier Detection leverages scoring algorithms or machine learning to flag GL transactions that might require a closer look during the journal entry approval process. Enhancements in this area include at-a-glance visuals to show why a transaction was flagged. You can also fine-tune what gets flagged as an outlier by configuring materiality thresholds as well as prioritizing transaction dimensions. The release includes more enhancements in the area of automation and matching functionality to help reduce the time and effort to perform bank reconciliations. This release includes expanded criteria operators for date and text comparisons, and additional options to group transactions together, such as on document number and or posting date. This allows for multiple ways to match, such as many to many, one to many, and vice versa. Enhancements also include the ability to order the rules within a rule set during execution so that matches are more precise and efficient. Support is now provided for Canadian sales tax with pre-built tax tables for PST, GST, QST, and HST. Taxes will automatically be selected in order entry and purchasing modules based on the item selected and the customer or vendor involved in the transaction. In the AR, AP, cash management, employee expense, and GL modules, you can choose the tax rate to apply to the line item, and Intacct will calculate the amount. Tax information is centralized, allowing you to use Intacct's custom reporting tools to file taxes in non-Intacct managed processes that your company may have. For subscription-based businesses, the release adds more billing flexibility and analysis. Committed quantity consumption billing enhances and streamlines your customers' billing and automates revenue recognition in accordance with ASC 606 requirements. Easy to select invoice by options will aggregate charges by bill to contract or project level selections. You can also enable bill to contacts at the contract line level. There are new interactive custom reports, which are now available right out of the box for greater efficiency and insight into your business. So Release 3 for 2021 includes a brand new in-transit type of inventory category. The new type of transfer tracks the progress of moving inventory from one warehouse to another. This feature more closely aligns with real-world timing delays occurring in the process, particularly for warehouses that are in multiple locations. When you transfer out, inventory is removed from the on-hand quantity at the from warehouse and added to the in-transit category at the receiving or to warehouse location. When the item arrives and is transferred in at the to warehouse, the item is then moved from in transit to on hand at the to warehouse. For early adopters, the Q3 release continues the trend of enhancements for those customers in the construction industry. Project change orders have been added to streamline management, visibility, and billing of multiple change requests. You can link single or multiple requests to the project change order and see amount and totals impacted, as well as manage the status of the change request. The change order may be copied to new order entry transactions or additional change order transactions when ready to bill. The 2021 Release 3 includes dashboard enhancements many customers have been requesting. The Billboard feature allows for sharing important information across the organization and dashboard audience. The attachment container component allows you to share various document components across the distribution. And the custom navigation feature allows you to include helpful links to guide recipients to resources and other important information. Release 3 includes several report usability enhancements. There's a new divider column type, which improves report layout and readability by allowing the insertion of spacers. There is a new forecast full period option, which allows the use of full budget instead of prorated budgets for the current period. The release also expands the normalized column types, which allows interpretation of variances as positive or negative, or as some would describe, favorable or unfavorable. For example, if revenue exceeds budget, it would be displayed as positive, whereas if an expense exceeds budget, that variance would be displayed as negative. It should be noted that the account type, category, and normal sign designations in the setup will drive the normalized interpretation. The default set of books now will also be included when a new column is added in the report. The default, of course, can be modified. The release includes an option to generate secure PDF forms, which cannot be altered by the recipient. This is particularly important for certain regions and customers of the product in order to comply with local legislative mandates. So I know that was fairly quick, but we've just covered the key highlights of 2021 Release 3. The release, as mentioned earlier, will be installed this Friday, August 20th. And as you can see on this slide, there are numerous other features and enhancements included in this release, and we encourage all clients to read the release notes. The release notes, along with excellent video explanations, are available by following the links on your company homepage or from individual module pages displaying release highlight banners. Now, for the next segment of our presentation and today's tips and tricks, I'll be entering our training company environment to illustrate a few of the impactful reporting features and updates. This will include the new dashboard component features, the normalized variance reporting, and finally, just a quick view of the Quick Start Reports preview option. So let's move over to that environment and take a look. Okay, hopefully you are all able to see the OneVision preview site, and just text me if that is not the case, Greg.
No, it looks
Casey?
good. It looks good.
Perfect, perfect. So first, I am going to go into the dashboard area and illustrate some of those new features in the dashboards. Now, I've already gone ahead and opened up 2 tabs here so that when we get to reporting, we can be a little more efficient there. So I'm on the home page, obviously, and I'm just going to click down and go to dashboards. And I've already selected one of my favorite dashboards, the CEO Executive Dashboard. So let's go there first. And this is fairly easy to do, but as you want to add additional elements to the dashboard, you can just click on this plus sign. And you'll notice in just a moment here, the component type, the drop-down list is where those new components have been added. So you see now attachment container, you see the billboard, and just a few slots down, custom navigation. Let's just add the billboard as an example. And we're going to change the height from 150, make it a little bit smaller. you have the option to show collapse or not. Let's just say, well, let's go ahead and put the content in there. Let's just say new billboard. All right, and we're going to save that. And it's just that simple. It creates a new billboard. Obviously, you would put the type of message you want in there, and you can certainly move that around. Now, let me show you one other component that I really like, which is the one with the custom navigation. Notice you have a couple of additional lines that pop up. And let's just say, for whatever reason, I want the person viewing this to, instead of customers, let's make that, well, we can stay with customers. Now notice you have the entire suite of all of the different areas in your instance that you can attach to this link. And let's just say I want to have it actually be a customer list. Now let's just do the same thing for vendors. I'm going to save that. Now, the nice thing about that feature is, and you see these hyperlinks immediately show up. So if you click on one, it's going to take you right to the customer screen. Okay. And so that's an opportunity to, again, provide whatever links you might want. You can even link additional dashboards. So as in a drill down fashion, or a cascading or stacking feature if you want the executive or person to navigate to multiple dashboards without having to go through the dashboard menu. So it's very, very neat, a nice feature. You know, this particular one also is very similar to the smart links and fetches, where you can link things to outside resources instead of the internal ones. All right, so those are two of the three. The other one, which I won't illustrate right now, is the attachment container, which is just like it says. You can attach different folders of information. You could even certainly you can attach informational policies and procedures if you want to do that. So again, a variety of ways you can use the container folder in addition to Billboard and custom navigations. All right, so let's go over to this tab, which is the Report Center tab that I have gone ahead and opened up. And what we're going to do is illustrate the normalized variance reporting feature by utilizing a report that I've already pre-selected here. It's just happen to call it the profit and loss actual versus budget normalized. Now what I'm going to do is, and I typically open reports through the edit mode, which allows me to both edit it but also preview it at the same time. Now what we're going to do is look at this report before making any changes. So run it. You can see a fairly basic actual versus budget report with the variances, but not particularly insightful as far as, you know, are the variances good or bad? Of course, we can see them at a glance, positive and negative, but, you know, we're looking for something a little more powerful, right? And so in order to do that, I'm going to go back to the report. I'm going to go over to the columns, and this is where the new feature resides. So in this case, again, I've saved us some keystrokes. You're seeing the report as is, and I've hidden the two columns where these new features or this one particular column where the new feature was added. The other column is just a variance percentage. But notice that I've selected, instead of the actual versus budget difference column here, I've selected the new feature, the normalized feature that has been added, which is the actual budget difference, but in a normalized fashion. Now, I've also taken the liberty to add some color scaling to this particular feature because it works really, really nice with that in being able to show me not only favorable and unfavorable or the positive negatives, but kind of rank them. And so what does that mean and how does it look? Let's take the hidden indicator off and take a quick preview. Now, that's a bit more insightful if I were looking at this report at a glance in terms of my variances. Notice the very super green being the most favorable variance in revenue, 120,000 above budget, so that's a good thing. And then notice the ranking of the most negative or unfavorable item, which is in the payroll expense category. We're almost $70,000 above the budget, which is not a good thing. And then also I want to call your attention to kind of the difference between normalized versus, I'll call it the regular actual versus budget difference. Notice it keeps the numbers in the regular actual budget in a positive, or I'll call it a financial statement presentation look, versus it switches it to negative in the normalized version as the description indicated, which is it wants you to know that's a negative or an unfavorable variance. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone out there, but I think it's a very useful feature to have the normalized, and I also think utilizing it with the color scale and coding is very, very helpful. All right, and lastly, in terms of our demo, I wanted to show you, I'm going to get out of this here, something that may have been overlooked, or perhaps in the past, one would wonder, I'm going to go to reports, financial reports. You've heard of the Quick Start library and tools of getting your company's provision. Well, now they've added the Quick Start report library to the financial reports menu. And so what that does is allow you to not only see what reports were included when your company was provisioned under the Quick Start menu of a services or manufacturing provision. It gives you the reports that are there, but here's the beauty of it now. They let you see what the report looks like. So before you would have to, actually put data in the report. So let's just click on profit and loss detail as an example. So now it's going to give you the layout without any numbers, obviously, but this gives you a head start on whether, A, what does the report look like and what does it contain? And B, do I really need to make any modifications in it before, trying it out? So again, something fairly, simple to get to, but I think it could be very powerful and save time and effort in the report development and the report knowledge. So those are the few things I wanted to cover on the reporting features. So let's jump back over to this segment of our presentation. And I believe we may have time for a few Q&A questions here. So let's
Bruce,
go.
yeah, there's some questions. If you want to address some of those, I'll let you ask the question. You can go ahead and answer them. So it looks like there's some out there for you.
All right, let me take a look. Okay, well, here's one that we'll address. It says, one of our bank accounts was reconciled with an 8/31/21 date instead of 7/31. So that's someone trying to get ahead here. Can the reconciliation be edited or undone? Also, I do not see a reopen link to edit the reconciliation. Yes, the answer is you can. You can reopen and re-reconcile a bank account. If you don't see that option, it's likely due to the user permission settings. The permissions needed are reconcile bank report and reopen reconcile credit card reports. These permissions are listed within the cash management module. All right, here's the second question. I need to report all new vendors within a given date range. I tried to create a new view on the vendor list page, but there's no option for date created. Is there a report list that shows vendors and dates that were created? You can actually do this through two different ways. One, you can create a custom report using vendor as the object. In addition to vendor name, terms, tax ID, etc., there's a field named when created. You could additionally filter against that field in the report builder. Another option is to run what's called an audit event report, and that's on the vendor audit object from the company menu, which shows adds and edit activity for a specific data range. All right, next, if we incorrectly apply a credit memo to a customer invoice, is there a way to unapply it and apply it to a different customer invoice? Of course, this is assuming you have not completed the payment. But yes, to do this, you would click unapply to the credit memo payment on the posted payments list, and then you would enter the reverse transaction date and credit amount you want to unapply from the invoice. Click save, and then the invoice becomes available again on the receive payments page. And the adjustment can be available for use on a future invoice. All right, next, can I reclassify an expense after it has been paid? Well, you cannot reclassify the original expense after it's been paid, but you can do a couple of things. You could duplicate the bill and kind of give it a descriptive bill number, delete all the rows not associated with the reclassification you need to make. And then you can make these rows negative and enter a positive line to offset each one of those negatives with the desired reclassification changes, depending on which dimensions you're trying to change. It'll be a $0 bill, so it won't impact the payment to the vendor. All right, next question is in area of CRE. It says, what are our accumulation types? Well, with a CRE subscription, you can categorize construction costs into accumulation types, which can be associated with industry standard cost categories for reporting. That would include labor, materials, equipment, subcontracts, overhead, and other. Here's another one in that area. What are estimate types and how are they used? Well, estimate types allow you to categorize your estimates into industry standard forecast categories: current, historical, future to completion, future at completion. And this is what allows you to compare current and original estimates and analyze the associated variances. Okay, I think we've got time for at least one or two more. Says, I've accidentally created a duplicate vendor and entered and paid a bill on both vendor records. Is there a way to merge these two together into one record? Well, unfortunately, you cannot merge two vendor records together, but you do have a couple of options. Option one is you could obviously reverse all of the activity on the duplicate record and recreate it on the record you're going to keep, and then inactivate the duplicate vendor. All transaction history will then be shown on the primary vendor's ledger, and then of course inactivated. But another option would be to make the duplicate record the child, or the duplicate vendor the child of the primary vendor. And once all transactions are closed out, then of course inactivate the duplicate vendor record there, and then only transact at the parent level vendor going forward. All right, and I think we've got time for this last one here. If we have customers that require us to upload invoices directly to their vendor portal, is there a way to store that information and the portal link on the customer record? can we report on that information? All right, so yes, you can create a custom field on the record and give it the data type of a URL. And then you can add it to the customer record, obviously there, which gives you the ability to then click on that link and it'll open that new window to the vendor portal. You can add instructions and other information in the existing comments field on the invoicing delivery section of the customer record. And then both fields can then obviously be reported on using custom reports. So that actually was a pretty detailed question, and it does relate to some of the hyperlinks and smart links, and even what we just saw on the dashboards earlier with taking you to certain navigation links. Well, I think we're running close to where we want to be on time. So I'm gonna not answer any other questions, but I do think we have a minute or two. Craig, are there any closing remarks you might want to make before I close it out?
First of all, Bruce, welcome to the One Vision team. We're so excited. Very rarely do you get somebody that's worked at the C level, it's worked at the implementation level, has been a user of Intacct, has implemented Intacct, and to join our team. We're just incredibly excited to have you, and our clients will really enjoy your insights and what you bring to the One Vision. So first of all, thank you. Great job on this. Secondly, if there's somebody on your team that was not able to attend, please reach out to Casey and she will get you information into this. And then the final note that I would say is, Bruce hit on a couple of reporting options and quick tips and tricks. Next month, September, we're actually doing a webinar, be a free webinar for our clients, where we're going to cover the reporting tools, even the advanced ones, Visual Explorer, Interactive Customer Report Writer, look at Financial Report Writer. So please, you'll see contact information and sign up information coming out from Casey on that. That's really important. That that's probably our biggest request is reporting, how to do reporting, how to tweak some things. If you have examples you want us to make part of that webinar, if you'll send them in to Casey, she will make sure that we get that to you. You'll get a follow-up from Casey after this webinar, so you can reply back to that. And overall, release 3 comes out this basically Friday night, Saturday morning, depending on what time zone you're in. And we're looking forward to that. A lot of nice features on this. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Bruce, thanks for the presentation. Is very good. And we will be following up with any questions or anything that you have. So,
well, thank you, Craig. And I hope everyone has found this webinar to be informative and certainly a compliment to your Sage Intacct and One Vision client experience. I look forward to speaking with many of you in the future. And again, as Craig said, thank you for joining again. We hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and week. Goodbye for now.